With intellectual powerhouses like the rapper B.O.B., basketball superstar Kyrie Irving, and former boombox genie Shaquille O'Neal all coming out in favor of the flat earth theory, we here at The Scathing Atheist recognize that it's our duty as a podcast that is exactly as influential as those three people combined to set the record straight. So, absenting ourselves from alphabetical order to be the arbiter of this anti-intellectual albatross, we ask ourselves,
how bullshit is it?
So tell us, Heath, in case anyone kind of zoned out during that intro, what nugget of nonsensical naivety do you have for us today?
That would be the flat earth theory.
Okay, and before we get started, just to be safe, where is Eli now?
No idea.
Probably best. Okay, so Heath, what is flat earth theory?
That's the theory that the earth is flat.
Okay, I'm going to need a little more to work with here, and we used Carl the Pugapegacorn last week, so...
Fine. So many ancient cultures subscribed to a flat earth cosmography. That includes pre-classical Greece, pre-Hellenistic Bronze Age and Iron Age Middle Eastern civilizations, India up until the Gupta period, and China until the 17th century.
I'm noticing something of a pattern here.
Yeah, wiping your ass and figuring out we're like on a sphere tend to go hand in hand throughout history.
Quite an image. Okay, but now, isn't it true that flat earth theory was the prevailing scientific view during the Middle Ages?
Actually, it is not. Aristotle provided empirical evidence for the spherical shape of Earth by around 330 BCE. And after that, knowledge of the spherical Earth started to spread beyond the Hellenistic world.
Are you sure? I mean, Hieronymus Bosch's Garden of Earthly Delights was painted in the Netherlands in the early 16th century, and it depicts a flat Earth.
Sure. But it also depicts lizards fucking their own face with a trumpet. So,
yeah, fair point.
Yeah, it is. And according to our close personal friend, Stephen Jay Gould.
Weird name drop.
According to him, in his work called The Late Birth of Flat Earth, he said, quote, "There never was a period of flat earth darkness among scholars, regardless of how the public at large may have conceptualized our planet both then and now. Greek knowledge of sphericity never faded, and all major medieval scholars accepted the Earth's roundness as an established fact of cosmology." End quote.
Okay, point conceded. But the question remains, why does the ideology hang around today? Why does Marsh have so many people to talk to on Be Reasonable?
Okay, so modern flat Earth societies and their exact origins are a little hard to trace, but they're almost certainly religious in nature, that's for sure.
Me and Captain Renault are shocked.
Yeah.
Shocked, I say.
Well, and this should be kind of obvious, too, but at a certain point, people got to the stars falling out of the sky part of the Bible, or the earth spread out before you part of the Quran, and rather than trying to reconcile that with modern scientific knowledge, they just said, fuck it, this shit is a plate.
Oh, sounds about right. Okay, so what do modern flat earthers believe?
Well, from what I gather from 3 episodes of Be Reasonable and a truly exhausting hour and a half on Google, they're divided into 2 main categories.
And those are?
Those are the disk theory and the infinite Earth theory.
Oh, do go on.
Okay, well, in one case, we're on a disk that's traveling upwards through space. Up means the top of the paper, I guess.
Yeah.
And we're going up at a rate of acceleration that would simulate gravity.
Okay, wait a minute, because that's not a speed. Like you said, that's a rate of acceleration.
That's correct.
So in less than a year of doing that from a dead stop, we would reach the speed of light. And I mean, what energy source could possibly provide the propulsion? Why would we be able to see further when we were higher up?
Well, those are all great questions.
Is that all I'm going to get?
That is all they have.
Okay, all right. But what about the edges of the Earth? I mean, wouldn't we have seen pictures of those by now?
They actually do have an answer for that. It turns out that what you know as the continent of Antarctica is actually a giant wall of ice.
Okay, so these guys think Game of Thrones is closer to reality than Cosmos.
Pretty much.
All right, but what's on the other side of the wall?
It's not super clear. Some of them say it's just space. Others say it's more flat Earth.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, but what about the sun and the moon? I mean, why would there be time zones or seasons or night and day?
Well, I'm so glad you asked, Noah. That's because, according to flat Earth theory, the sun and moon are much closer to the Earth than you think. They're actually in the atmosphere.
I feel like that'd be real warm.
Nope. Turns out the sun is just medium warm.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. No, it's more like a spotlight than a giant ball of nuclear fusion. Warm, but not enough to burn you. Just medium. And where the spotlight isn't shining, it's night there. Or winter or something.
Seriously?
Yep.
Okay, all right. So just for the record here, like for non-insane people, what shape is the Earth?
That would be an oblate spheroid.
And how do we know that?
Because we have pictures of them.
And how do flat earthers explain those?
They say we weren't big fans of Russia at the time. And that explains
but I mean, we're not the only ones with pictures. Russia also has pictures.
They weren't big fans of us at the time also.
And India?
They hate everybody, always.
All right. So what kind of evidence do they use to support these preposterous claims?
Well, first up, the argument from I'm not flying off the Earth right now.
I should not have to ask, but how does that one work?
Well, at the equator, the Earth spins at over 1,000 miles an hour. And if you stand on something and then you sped it up to 1,000 miles an hour, you'd fall off. Or at least you'd fall over.
I mean, sure, but if Earth suddenly started spinning, we'd all fall over. I mean, constant rates of speed have to be familiar to these people, don't they?
You didn't ask me for good arguments. You asked me for flat earther arguments.
Okay, fair enough. What else do they have?
Okay, let's try the argument from the flat horizon. So, you ever notice that no matter how high you go, as long as it's not above 35,000 feet, the horizon always looks flat?
I have noticed that.
Well, it seems like you're expecting a follow-up, but that's the whole thing.
Oh, it's okay, but the highest humans ever travel in their day-to-day lives is about 8.5 miles off the Earth's surface, and the Earth's diameter is almost 8,000 miles. So we're talking about 0.2% further away from the center here.
Yeah, and I'm sure you could easily explain that geometry to Shaquille O'Neal, the rapping genie boombox guy.
All right, but I mean, Shaq has money. It doesn't cost much to buy a GoPro and a weather balloon and see that curvature for yourself.
Well, obviously, GoPro is in on it too.
I see.
As is big weather balloon.
Of course, yes. All right, well, I guess the only question left to ask is,
how bullshit is it?
That would be Eli eats bacon cheddar hummus levels of bullshit.
Excellent, Heath. Thanks so much.